found this.
Coming up on ECG, Batman is what now?
Frank Castle is a war machine.
More info on Overwatch League.
SDCC film stuff.
All this and more on a jam-packed East Coast Geek podcast. Welcome to episode number 107 of the East Coast Geek podcast for Friday, July 28th, 2017, where we bring you all the latest news in comics, movies, and gaming. And I promise you, one day I will get that down and not mess it up. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Opu. How you doing, buddy? You look smart.
Hey.
You look smart. Hey.
Yeah.
You being reserved today?
Yeah.
Are you being reserved today? No, no
when
rants?
you started to say the number that we were on, and you said 1, I was like, wait a second, we're not on episode 1. I know we've done at least 3 more than that.
Yeah, I said 107 instead of 107. Just change it up a bit. But you're changing it up. You look smart.
Yeah.
Reserved. No rants tonight, right? We're not going to get to any rants.
I look like an intellectual here, but now I take this off and I'm like, I just look like some homeless person.
Right?
No, these are my BCGs from when I was in the Army, and I just realized they're over here, and actually they kind of hurt my eyes, so I wonder if the prescription's no longer strong enough.
Yeah, probably.
But
that's a good possibility.
But it is clear when I put those on.
Great.
So I definitely need to get some more. One day.
Great. So what have you been up to this week, man? And it's been a short week. When did we do this? Saturday? Last week? Yeah, it was Saturday, right?
Did we do it last week? We
Yeah.
must have done it last week. What have I been up to? Oh my goodness.
Plenty of work. No video
Working!
games.
I've been working
No
like a
movies.
bright, mature, sunshiny adult.
Yeah.
I haven't, because we were renewing contracts this week, so I had to, dance around schedules and, go to work early a lot so I could get people off of time so they could go get their cards and access badges and stuff.
Right.
So they didn't have to they didn't lose sleep over anything, and, just trying to be that nice, fancy professional that I know that sometimes I am.
Great. That's good. That's less than I was doing because I had a nice week off of vacation, so I enjoyed that thoroughly and actually spent a lot of time playing Fortnite. Surprise, surprise. I've gotten, I wouldn't say pretty deep. I'm still in the first area, even though it's got 10 pages worth of 4 quests each or so, 3 or 4 quests to get you into the game and get you the basics of how it's played. So it's been a lot of fun, and even more fun playing with my son. He's having a blast with it too. We're getting into the, I don't want to say slowdown phase, but the more of a build-up phase where you got to wait for some of the stuff. Remember I said there was some Facebook game aspect to it. The research points are accrued. I think it's 54 per hour to start out. So you can't upgrade unless you have those on certain things. Things that pertain to missions as well as stats for your characters. So I've been working on that, and they just announced this week during their developer stream on Tuesday. I think I shared it. They have Twitch integration now, and if I stream and I complete a quest that's specifically stated as a Twitch streamer quest, people that are watching, if they have their Twitch account connected to their game, will also receive that same quest. And as far as I can tell, the streamers are getting hit with it, and it's acting like a virus, infecting the people that are actually watching me stream or watching other people stream.
But in a good way.
Oh yeah, in a good way. It's no disease or virus type thing. It's just infection like.
It's kind of like they did that with achievements. Remember where so I think Evolve did it one time. I think maybe one of the COD games did it one time where you had to play against somebody on a multiplayer to unlock that achievement. and that was the only way you could get it, is that you had to play against somebody else. And obviously the developers started with it, so they went out and played to have So, and that's always an interesting. I've always liked those kind of ideas because it goes beyond just trying to get not only getting people into playing multiplayer more or communicating more, but also is like a study in how information passes, and not only that, but like viruses, like in general, like in the real world.
Yeah.
You remember we discussed the Warcraft thing where they had that epidemic online, and they used
which was an accident, but it turned into something they were able to.
Was. Don't get us wrong, that one was an accident,
but it turned into something that they could use. So, other than that, I think DICE does that as well. If you actually play against a DICE developer in one of the Battlefield games or the Battlefront games, you'll actually get an achievement for it. And if you actually do an execution with your knife on them, sneaking up and stabbing them, you'll actually take their dog tags, and they have unique dog tags as well. So.
Where can you use? Is it just for?
I think it's collection wise. I don't remember if they actually allow you to actually use, because it's specifically for the DICE employees. They may only keep it to them being able to use it, not you. But you having the collection and showing, because it shows you when you look at the tag, it tells you who it was collected from. So that developer's name is actually in your logbook as somebody you took that tag from. So. It's kind of neat. It's kind of a neat thing.
It's really neat, and it's nice when they do little things like that. One, it shows that they interact with the community more, so that's always a nice thing. That it's not just like they just shoot it out and it's over with,
Right.
For them, and it shows that they're at least somewhat invested into the game.
Right. They're not just making it and then playing something else overnight. So.
Right.
But
exactly.
We got a lot to get to, so I think we're going to go ahead and move into that. What do you say?
If I could stop myself from tagging people on Facebook to come watch our silly little show.
Well, that's all right. Well, we can keep going while you're typing.
We're good. Let's go into it, because we do have a lot to talk about. We've filled up. There's actually, as we were doing the notes this week, I kept seeing more and more stuff pop up, and I'm like, man, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about that. And I don't know did we even end up deleting anything?
No, we just kept adding to it. So this one's going to be a little longer. We'll be all right though. We'll make it through. Maybe we can soldier through this. So.
Well, let's hopefully the audience can soldier through it.
Right.
That's the ones we're worried about. We're not worried about us.
Right. So
if anybody needs to go take a break, get some water, go get a sandwich, that's totally fine. We'll still be here rambling.
Right. All right. So the first thing we've got in comic news, surprisingly, something newsworthy out of comics came out of. I don't know if they announced this at Comic-Con or if it's just something that popped up this week. But Batman is now a metahuman. Care to elaborate?
Oh, by the way, spoilers for Suicide Squad number issue 22 if you haven't read that yet. But yeah, maybe from now on, maybe I need to put the spoiler alert before the title of what we're about to rant about.
Yeah, great.
We'll try. We'll work on that. Give us a break. It's only been a few episodes since we started. Do you want to read, or you want me to read?
I'll go ahead and read. Spoilers incoming from Suicide Squad number 22. So if you haven't read it, be warned. Batman has long been a non-superpowered member of the Justice League, though to be fair, it hasn't exactly held him back. Millionaire playboy philanthropist with nothing but money.
Now.
Billionaire. Sorry, Mr. Wayne. While he has yet to manifest any actual powers, according to Amanda Waller, the Dark Knight is not a normal human. Towards the end of this week's issue, she instructs the remnants of her team, Digger Harkness notwithstanding, long story involved there, to retrieve two metahumans, which include Killer Frost and Batman. So Batman is...
So we all know, like Mr. Dickens on the chat said, yes, he might as well be a meta, because guess what? He's got superpowers. He's always had superpowers. It's called plot armor, for one, and somehow he's able to induce the idiot ball in anybody he fights.
Hey, listen, he's the world's greatest detective. Don't forget that. That came from somewhere.
I understand him being able to take down some superhuman opponents, but like people like the Martian Manhunter, Plastic Man, which I think he's admitted in the past that he can take down, and Superman and Flash, he should be able to. He shouldn't have a stand a chance. They literally move faster than he can think.
Right.
If he's human. So, yes. So, and even half of them have long range attacks. Superman or Martian Manhunter could literally be in the upper stratosphere, look down at him, and be like, "Yep, zap," and his brain's gone. That's obviously if they wanted to kill, but whenever they show them go insane or turn evil, they always basically walk up to him and swing as slow as they can. It's like they're purposely holding back. But anyway, that's beside the point. Yes, Batman is now considered a metahuman by the federal government in D.C. properly. This isn't the first time he's been categorized as such, but of course it is the most recent, and especially in this most recent version of the universe. Batman and Green Lantern were considered metahumans by the slimmest of margins under Chuck Dixon, but that has obviously faded by now. Of course, somebody being able to stay at the peak of beyond Olympic athlete capabilities, not to mention holding 15 or 16 doctorates or master's degrees.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And yes, I know it's comics or whatever, but that's what we're going. The reasoning for this has been teased by DC in Dark Days. In that series, it is revealed that Batman had contact with Ninth Metal or Nth Metal in an unexpected way when he was healed by the metal Dionysium. I'm thinking that's how you pronounce it. Since it contains nth metal properties, Batman was essentially restored to peak condition. The Joker has also revealed that nth metal can have unexpected effects once introduced into the bloodstream, turning normal beings into metas. While thus far it only seems to have healed him and nothing more, that doesn't mean it hasn't given him some other abilities. Yeah. Even if not, he's still now considered a metahuman, and odds are that will start showing up more and more in DC's upcoming Metal event. Maybe he'll turn into Metal Batman.
It's like Metal Mario, right?
Right, yeah. He puts on, what he does is he puts on a metal cowl, and then he turns, and he can breathe underwater, but he's slow and heavy.
Oh, okay.
So if you know what nth metal is, it's native to Thanagar, the home planet of Silver Age Hawkman and Hawkwoman. Among the unusual properties of nth metal is the ability to negate gravity, allowing a person wearing the object made of it to fly like a belt. It also protects the wearer from elements and speeds the healing of wounds, increases the strength, and amplifies certain superpowers. It has many other properties that have yet to be revealed in full. It has been implied that the magical abilities of the Thangarian supervillain Onimar Sin all stem from his unique mastery of the properties of nth metal. So, short version for that is that it is a plot device, and it will do whatever they need it to do.
Once again, hitting on that plot armor.
Different trope, but yes, kind of, in a way.
Well, I mean, it's gonna conveniently get him out of something eventually.
Right, yeah. We can go into trope discussions and dissections. Next
week on trope dissections and expressions.
You know what? Maybe we need to have a sub podcast where we take a trope and that's probably been done, but we can do it better and more beardly. So Suicide Squad 22 is written by Rob Williams with art by Gus Vasquez with a Z because Z's are cool, with covers by people. What's up with these names? Eber Ferreira. You want to take a stab at that name?
Ferreria, yeah.
Ferrari. Eddie Barrows, and that they're just throwing letters. Whilst
Portasio. Portasio.
Wiles Portland.
Wills Portasio. We'll go with that. And
so,
those are
one of your favorite characters. What do you think about him being officially classified as a meta?
I think it's, I don't know. Doesn't that take away some of the allure of him just being a human with lots of money?
I mean, does he really need a boost like that? You know, they do that a lot in comics. DC was really notorious for a while for doing this. So hopefully it's not going back to that, where they just keep ramping up everybody's abilities, you know.
Right.
The speed of light, faster than the speed of light, 10 billion times the speed of light. Superman can lift universes now. It's like, you know.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is Batman's always been... that's what's so easy to relate to Batman, is he's still just a man. He still has to train. He still has to do all this stuff. Superman doesn't have to lift a finger to keep that physique. He just has to stand there in the sunlight. It's kind of one of those things. You know he's human. It adds a value to the character that he can be killed. That's a possibility. I remember wasn't there a Death of Batman series?
Well, there's a Death of Superman series.
I know there's a Death of Superman, but
there was a Death of Flash.
There's got to be a Death of Batman out there. Death of the Dark Knight, something like that. It adds an allure to the character, and it adds that thing that we need to identify with Batman as a human. Even though we, back in the days of George Reeve playing Batman on Superman, playing Superman in the old TV show. I feel like the original Superman on the silver screen in that era, the television show, he was kind of more humanized, to where nowadays he is literally, he's a god, They throw that word god around like nobody's business, that he's that type of level of a creature, for lack of better words. So I think it's important to keep Batman at that level, So
well,
this whole metahuman,
he has reached godhood, and
he is holding up the DC universe single-handedly.
Pretty much. At least that's what DC thinks. Maybe if they give another character a chance. Yeah. So here's my thing with Darkseid always killing people: is the Omega beams never really seem to kill anybody. Like, they just teleport them to wherever. I mean, I guess he does disintegrate them, but then he can always bring them back when he wants to. So,
and you've got your
I don't know.
You've got your plot armor. You also have your plot villain. He's there to kill.
I will admit, though.
He's there to kill.
I will admit, though, Darkseid is so cool when he's got his hands behind his back and he just shoots a beam out and it just follows them wherever. It's like, when you just think about it, it looks so... you think about it, that's really stupid. But when you see, the Flash try to run from it, or Superman trying to withstand it, it's actually really cool.
Right.
Though I think they've gotten really bad into having somebody trick it to hitting Darkseid again, which it shouldn't be able to, because he literally controls it. So he should always be able to manage to keep it from hitting him, unless he was preoccupied. But usually he's just standing there. It's not like Superman's distracted him or whatever. But yeah. So Batman's a meta now. At least it helps justify some of his. At least, sorry, I was trying to get some more people on the.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
But maybe it'll help justify more of his actions. Even if he gives him a low level healing factor, that won't he could still be killed. Like Spider-Man technically has a healing factor where he heals broken bones in a couple of weeks as opposed to months.
Right.
Obviously we don't want him regenerating like Wolverine or Hulk or some of the others, but at least it would help justify some of his actions.
Right.
Obviously within a comic book universe, of course.
Of course. I mean, that's a given, right?
Right. Yeah. And we only get this picky on characters when the universe themselves set their limits. We're like, well, they literally say Batman can bench press 1,000 pounds. Why is he able to punch Superman without the ring, just with Kevlar on his knuckles, and it hurts him?
Right.
Yeah, Superman literally can take nukes to the face in his peak, or go and hang out on the surface of the sun. So,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Superhuman brooding, I do like that. That's what
Superhuman brooding. Great.
That's what he can do now.
He's so broody. What's going on with Batman, man?
I don't know.
All right. Next thing we got. This is interesting. Or you got something else?
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of brooding.
There you go. There's your picture. It's the Punisher War Machine. Frank Castle is the War Machine? Is that possible?
Well, he's always technically a war machine because, I mean, he is the Punisher. So, at San Diego Comic-Con, Cupo Joe panel, a fan asked if Frank Castle is going to wear the War Machine armor in Legacy, and Marvel editor Nick Lowe confirmed that Castle will indeed become the War Machine. Frank Castle is absolutely putting on the War Machine armor, but we can't give any more details, Lowe answered. This is via comicbook.com or something. What were you going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm good.
Oh, okay. Let me find where I was at. Marvel's teaser cover from Legacy teased a possible mashup of the Punisher and War Machine. And it's good to know that it's finally been confirmed because actually this is actually, you know, some of the comic ideas are kind of dumb, but this one actually fits both characters for me.
Right.
Go ahead.
No. I was agreeing.
Oh.
I was agreeing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just out of it right now. You know, and the thing is, Frank Castle is currently working with Hydra leader Captain America, which in name only right now, as they hunt down Black Widow and her Red Room group of superheroes. So, guess we'll have to wait and see how that gets flipped around for him to be War Machine, unless Captain America is going to give him some War Machine armor, like the Super Patriot armor, or no, not the Super Patriot, Patriot armor that Osborn wore, which was absolutely terrible. So here is their little. Well, no, we don't need this part. Oh, we don't. We're going to skip ahead a little bit.
Okay.
So, so Marvel Legacy #1 will be available September 27th, 2017. Now, here's the thing. This is not Frank Castle's first time dealing with power armor of any sort.
Right. You were mentioning that.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I said you were mentioning that.
Oh, yeah. So, you may remember from the Spider-Man animated cartoon back in the 90s, Punisher appeared a few times. He was in this thing called the Battle Van. I think that's what its name was. And he had an ally named Microchip who was, hello.
Who's gonna be in the second Punisher season as well?
He's gonna be the second or the first?
Oh, first. I mean, my bad. I forgot. Hey, you know what? I forgot.
Technically, Daredevil season 2 was Punisher 1, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because, oh my goodness, he was awesome. But so anyway, so the Punisher has been very science fiction-y before. It's only relatively recently that and I think it was the Welcome Back Frank storyline where he got more down and gritty. And got away from using like lasers and surveillance, like super high tech surveillance equipment, but he started using like the internet and generic weapon. Well, not necessarily generic weapons, but like weapons we have currently in the real world. So his partner Microchip built him an exo armor with stolen specs to face off against the Reapers way back in Punisher Volume 2, issue 34. He later busted that same armor out against the Red Hulk. So that's more recently. Not only that, but Frank Castle actually stole the Model 42 armor to fight the Avengers, which is when Tony Stark busted out Model 37 of his Bleeding Edge armor. I think that was the solid plate one because one of them he could store within himself. Well, he's had several like that, but not to this level. He could store the entire thing inside of himself with nanites or whatever. So like I said, the Punisher used to be an extremely high-tech character with the Battle Van and Microchip, and he's only occasionally jumped back into it. I think in the Suicide King's arc with Deadpool, he was actually incorporating some of the villain tech. Like I think he had the Goblin glider.
Oh, nice.
Maybe the Hobgoblin version, I think. Maybe it was Jack-o'-lantern's version. Anyway, so he had like a Goblin glider. He used some of, I think he used some pumpkin bombs of that. He had some tentacles from like Dr. Octopus, not necessarily maybe built from him. I don't know if they really got into detail on that. It's been a while since I've read that story arc. It's like on one of my shelves back here. This one, most probably, because that has almost all my Deadpool stuff. So this actually could be a cool thing, because War Machine does do a lot of war stuff. Like, he's not always just battling Thanos or Ultron, but he's been in real world combat situations. I especially like it when James Rowe was part cyborg, and he had a type of suit that allowed him to incorporate other weapons into himself. He simulated them. Like, he was fighting against tanks one time. He took, like, the tank barrels and the treads and stuff. And then, like, jets came in. He's like, oh, I'm taking that, too. And it was really cool. So I'm wondering what level of gear he's going to be working with here. But, they're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing, like, Avengers 1 million BC right now. They've released some pictures, which obviously we don't have here, like, of the Ghost Rider riding a flaming mammoth, which actually kind of sounds cool, even though it would have been cooler if it was like a skeletal mammoth. So I don't know, man. I haven't appreciated a lot of Marvel's decisions lately, but this is one I could probably get behind.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. I mean, dude loves guns, and he loves distributing. Not justice. Yeah, justice, right?
Oh, punishments.
Punishments. Yeah, but he does it in a creative way, I guess. I guess that's what I was looking at. But
by a creative way.
Yeah, like, dragging somebody by a vehicle through a parking lot with where all the vehicles start on fire in the shape of the Punisher symbol, Come on, nobody liked that movie?
I actually really enjoyed that movie.
It was good. And then they did Warzone, and listen, I never watched it, and you want to know the reason why?
Why?
My military experience has ruined me, because I know you can't shoot a 40mm grenade through a wall to another wall and have it activate in that amount of time. So when he did that...
Here's the thing. If it was like based off of like Jarhead or whatever, where it's supposed to be set in the real world, this is still, even though it's like far grittier and more realistic than Batman or Superman or whatever, but it's still comic book physics that we're assuming the only way I can justify some of those actions.
We're assuming Frank Castle works in the world of realistic weapons.
I mean, but the thing is, he might be shooting M240, but then Spider-Man swings by. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you.
So it's like, yeah, he's using conventional weaponry in an unconventional world, and sometimes it doesn't, they have to, the physics of them bend somewhat.
I guess. But you want certain things like that to be, it's grounding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It still keeps it, Frank Castle's not a superhuman person. He's not a superhero. He's a dude dispensing punishment, like you said.
Now, here's the interesting thing you bring that up. It's at least one time it was implied that something supernatural was helping him out. Because
he's not Ghost Rider.
Like a what if comic. Speaking of which, I think there was a what if like Captain America had made the Avengers and he was like Iron Man in it or something.
Right.
I didn't fully research that, but I saw some pictures and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But so there was some comic way back where he was fighting in Vietnam. It was like a flashback, and he was really getting into the killing people. And something spoke to him. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna have, do you want to keep doing this forever?" And he's like, "Yeah, I really do." And they're like, "Okay, okay, well, that you wish granted." So. And then,
Great.
He came back to the senses. But I don't think that's really canon anymore.
Like
it's ever canon to begin with.
Like I said, it's grounding when it's when the humans are human. You know what I mean? Like I said with Batman. Batman's a human. Batman's not superhuman. And just because he can keep in peak physical condition, I argue go back and look at 60s Batman, all right? Adam West really wasn't all in that much of shape. But
hey, he started out in shape, then he got chubbier. Just like Kirk did. Kirk started out very in shape. That's why he was shirtless in every other episode. Then less so.
So, but my point is it helps ground them and keeps them within reality of what you're expecting as a person, knowing that Frank Castle is a normal human being, knowing that Bruce Wayne, even though he's got that Batman suit on, he's using that as his fear tactic. Because Batman definitely, until a point, works on fear tactics, for sure. On street level enemies, sure. People like the Joker, obviously, he's not scaring the crap out of him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, it's just you need some of that realism, otherwise you're getting totally out of whack, and I don't know. And I may just
they do have to adjust the Punisher based off of where he's at, because like when he's in a more PG Spider-Man book, for example, he uses rubber bullets, that kind of thing.
Oh, of course. I mean,
yeah. Now, hey, fun fact: first appearance of the Punisher was in a Spider-Man comic. It was like what, Amazing Spider-Man 129 or 123, something like that.
Right.
And he is so good at shooting that he was actually able to shoot Spider-Man's web shooters. Like the bullets grazed right here and broke his web shooters.
Oh, interesting.
With like a pistol or like a one-handed rifle. I remember he was like hanging from something.
Oh, God.
Spider-Man was like doing a flip and he shot him out.
Wow. Amazing marksmanship over there. Amazing.
Yeah, talk about grounded in reality, right?
Yeah, well, they get that good. All right. Do we still have more on this? Do we cover
that's
everything?
all I got for those.
Okay. Awesome. We'll get into the meat and potatoes then, because man, it's a doozy in that movie section. Where's Perry? Maybe if I play his music, he'll show up. Oh God, I'm sitting here realizing I think I forgot to tag Perry.
I tagged him.
Oh, okay. All right, first thing we've got is the Ready Player One trailer. This is a book that both Mitch and I have talked about on the show before. In fact, it came for free, in one of the loot crates, which it's on my shelf. I came across it and I was like, I really need to finish this book.
Basically, at this point, you're going to have to start rereading it over, aren't you?
No, I know where he's at, because he's just gotten through the whole school thing, and he's just started. That stuff's kind of not really
early in.
Yeah, it's relatively early in. He's that stuff's going on. So, the trailer gave us a great look into what they plan to do, and like you noted here. Shows us our first hints at the Oasis and what it's going to be. And I got to admit, they did a really good job of putting in the stacks of mobile homes.
Right, yeah, that looks really good, doesn't it?
They actually went the distance and put that stuff in there. And then for him, imagining from the words on the pages what exactly that space looks like that he goes to hide from everybody and just interact with Oasis, pretty spot on. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I mean, Spielberg's pretty good at details.
And here comes the disappointing part. And in reference to your comment here, Steven Spielberg has gone on the record as saying he is including 0 references relating to himself and his movies that he's done.
Wait, I think that was actually plot points in the book, though.
That's what I'm saying. I'll check to see Spielberg. So anyway, so we can go on and.
So, well, I can kind of understand that, because it might feel weird for him. It might feel like that he's patting himself on the back.
Yeah, but it's not it's not his freaking work of fiction, though.
Well, and the other thing is that the book. It's about the 80s and 90s, and Spielberg, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and a lot of Spielberg's work really way back then. It was really influential.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. He's very adamant of being at least a bit self-referential as possible. He felt that it was less was more of him. Said T.J. Miller, who I didn't know he was going to be in that movie. That's pretty awesome. I just saw him in another movie I'll talk about later.
Oh boy, yeah.
Let's see.
So I can kind of see where he's coming from that. If it had been anybody else, then obviously the Spielberg references would be in there. But I can see where he's coming from with that. So that doesn't bother me too much. But you could make a drinking game out of the references in the trailers already.
Oh yeah. And people were going through.
The movie comes out. And he's even said it. He's wanting people to say, "Oh, I understand that reference." I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be awful."
People have been going through, and I haven't looked at any of them yet, but people have been going through and like circling images from the video, the trailer, showing what reference this is from the book and what reference, what he's actually referencing and all that. So it's still going. Yeah, it's still, those are recent articles from 4 days ago that he's still continuing to do that. So, and I feel like that's a bad thing because, like you said, at a certain point, it's plot points. So.
Yeah, it's not like he's some kind of minor director. He's Steven Spielberg. Some of his recent stuff might not be as like E.T. and Jaws and Jurassic Park were.
Right.
But still, dude, when you build that kind of reputation, you're going to have to deal with people like referencing you.
I'm starting to think that maybe Steven Spielberg wasn't the best pick for this. To be honest.
Yeah. Just with the topic, it was like, it's still going to be a good movie. Here's my other complaint, though. I think the main guy looks too attractive.
Ty Sheridan?
Yeah.
Right.
At least when you see him putting on the helmet, I'm like, wow, that guy looks kind of good for the character he's supposed to be playing. Because that's one of the things. The themes in the story is like nobody is quite who they appear, and not in the whole paranoia way. It's just like, online you make an avatar, and your avatar might kind of look like you, but it might not. That kind of thing. Like lately, because I have a beard, a lot of my characters have beards these days, and shaved or bald heads, or I might style the beard in a different way. But online, you could, Jeremy plays, at least on WoW, he has a lot of female mains.
Shh. You're not supposed to tell everybody that? God.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, it's fine. You're actually going to see him twice this year. You'll see him, or next year. You'll see him in Ready Player One, and also again as Cyclops in Dark Phoenix.
No, I won't see him in Dark Phoenix.
Oh, because you're not going to watch it. I forgot. My bad.
I'm not going to watch it because the last movies have been crap.
Yeah, they have. Apocalypse
except
was
garbage.
For Logan.
Logan was great.
Apocalypse was hot garbage. Let me tell you.
Oh my goodness, was it ever? It's just... Here's the thing, if it's a good movie,
I feel dirty. Hey,
I can try to push besides that's not how the powers work in the comics and stuff. But when you break your own established rules within your own self-contained movie universe, that's where it starts driving me crazy. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, how you doing there in the chat? I hope that wasn't too close to the microphone.
No, you're fine. I feel dirty.
That's my problem with him being cast. Now, here's the thing. If they had cast some other guy and then had, what's-his-face, Cyclops kid, being his avatar, that would have been cool to me.
Oh, that would be neat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the avatar doesn't always represent what you look like,
Let me tell you, it's a plot point in Ready Player One.
Right.
Several times. So that's what frustrates me. And because it's I think he actually specifically talks about getting in shape in the comics. So you want
to know my thought about this?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the Assassin's Creed movie, the character that Fassbender played, he looked like Fassbender in the past. And they do that for character recognition. That's the only reason why. So for it to be a plot point in the story, I I think they're going to have to get around it because they're going to want people to be able to easily identify him. Even though, in that same breath, we're looking down the barrel of Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, where the kids don't look anything like their avatars in the game.
Here's the thing. The audience is not stupid. They're not as stupid as you think they are, Hollywood.
Right.
You say, hey, and here's the thing. You can always do stuff like how in Iron Man, you want to show Tony Stark's face, but you literally can't have the faceplate off in every battle. Show what looks on the inside. You know? You could do like how Spider-Man does in the comics sometimes. You have the half and half. Like, you see the mask and you see his face right here. Right. At least when the spider sense goes off in the comics, it used to do that a lot. I mean, there's ways around it. You don't have to just cast the one guy. And now with Fassbender for Assassin's Creed, he already looked in the games. He already looked like his ancestors. They all had that like hair lip scar. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, down to that point, and really it was because they were too lazy to make the extra models, most likely. But you know, it's justified, and especially in the Assassin's Creed lore, it's more justified because of genetic memory and all that kind of stuff. So it makes sense. Oh, well, his ancestors looked a lot like him because of genetics or whatever, you know? I guess he never, you know, no other genetics ever came through and, you know, altered any other person. They all looked exactly alike. So, at least, but again, at least with the Assassin's Creed lore, it makes sense. With this, there really wasn't a need to, except they wanted a pretty face, and and that kind of thing kind of makes me worry with the other characters that they may have changed. Right.
And like I said, it's to serve the greater good of getting the movie out, and the Spielberg references. It's gonna hurt, but
does it really help the greater good though when it destroys the point of the story?
I didn't mean greater good. What I meant was the ease of converting the movie to film. And that's the bad part. Maybe the only ones he's keeping in there are the ones that are actually plot points. And not continuous references here and there. You know what I mean?
Maybe. But, I mean, that guy does not look like somebody that is in a very down-and-out family.
Yeah, I get you. I hear you. All right, well, keep an eye out for that. And meanwhile, we're going to talk about some other hot garbage since we referenced that in talking about X-Men Apocalypse. Another... this is Sony, though. Wow, Sony and Fox, they're putting out hot garbage. And Sony more than one story in here. New Ghostbusters live-action movie is in the works. Yay?
Yay, indeed. It's just such a brilliant premise. Such a brilliant premise.
So I still want to know what happened to the rumors of the new male cast and whether that was actually going to be a thing or not.
I think they're just shooting off at the hip, just saying whatever they want and see what happens. They just don't care anymore. So here's the thing.
Don't worry, Jay Dickens. We won't spend too much time on that.
Animated movie from the ghost perspective. Isn't that just Casper?
Casper, yeah.
13 Ghosts from Scooby-Doo. Not 13 Ghosts from Scooby-Doo. What was the one where he was with the Boo Brothers? I think that might have been it. But it was like the big muscular one. It was like the goofy one and like the serious. I don't remember. So why Sony?
Yeah, I don't understand what they are doing it just to keep the rights, or because the first Ghostbusters movie made so much money, or
Yes, I mean it was like $70 million in the whole. How you doing, Mr. Gordon? You doing okay? I'm going to shave my head too. I'm going to be just like you. When you grow the beard, though, you got to grow the beard. That was my father-in-law. He wanted to shout out, and so he got it.
Just gonna follow Slimer at a buffet. Yeah, well, and it's like, imagine a Pirates of the Caribbean movie where they followed around those two chuckleheads in the rowboat. The one that keeps losing his eyeball, and the fat one that he's with.
Well, no, it's not even following around the comedic relief because they did that for El Dorado. They basically took the comedic relief from any other movie. They're like, let's put those guys as the main, and it's brilliant. But you're taking not even the villains, but because these ghosts are like semi-sentient, it's like, okay, we're taking these animals that are unappealing. It's not even like Milo and Otis.
Two-dimensional characters. You're giving a point of view to a two-dimensional character.
Basically, yes. Even Slimer, when he took over 90% of the real Ghostbusters cartoon, what? Like, he had no real personality. He was goofy, and he ate a lot. But that was pretty much it. He had, even the characters in that show, now that I think about it, they were fairly well-rounded. Egon, it showed, like, where Egon got his obsession with the ghosts and all that kind of stuff because he was afraid of the boogeyman, remember?
Right. I do remember.
So they had their own desires and their own fears and ambitions and stuff like that. But Slimer was just a thing. He was he was one joke in a movie, and they tried to like expand off of that. They didn't go anywhere with it. You know what I'm saying?
And they're gonna try and do that again with. Well, and so the contrast to this, and I keep going back to it because they did so well with Rogue One, was taking that World War II film method, where they didn't just show the Allied command, they also showed the Axis commands, the German commanders talking, giving you a look in. But this is like a bastardization of it, because you're not really, like you said, it's not a living character. It's a two-dimensional. It does this one thing, and it has this need to fulfill this one want that it has, and which is create havoc. So exactly. Most of the ghosts were the epitome of one desire. Like the two brothers that died by electrocution, they wanted revenge, or so they were wrath from the second movie. Slimer was a glutton, so that was one. The Stay Puft, he was just a force of nature. He was set to be the weirdest destruction character ever. Right.
God of destruction, or whatever you want to say for Gozer. They didn't flesh him out. They didn't ever say, hey, they have so. Well, in the real Ghostbusters, let's go back to that. They did try to reform some of them, because remember, sometimes they actually had to pull Stay Puft out of the containment unit to fight stuff that he couldn't handle.
Right.
So they did show that they had something of souls in that.
Right, but
I guess technically they are souls.
Yeah, it's a touchy, weird subject that it's.
Let's put it this way: they're not going to put as much thought in this movie as the cartoon or the comics did. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that.
Yeah.
Because the comics had like anti-ghost Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's go ahead and just say that neither one of these movies are going to have any heart or thought into it. It's going to be like Sony, like most of Sony's movies lately, commercials and bad jokes.
Terrible jokes.
Like wontons. How is that a running gag in your movie?
Wontons. And you thought they smelled bad on the inside or the outside. I always screw that up. I always say that wrong. All right. Let's go ahead and hit the next thing here. You want to go ahead and take this one?
Yeah, so Defenders trailer. The Defenders trailer looked really good. Still no Matt Murdock, which I guess they explained this, but I'm going to wait for the show. Hopefully they explain it in that. Matt Murdock's not in his uniform.
Oh, yeah, he's
still
not. What? No, there was parts that he was in his uniform because
he had the black mask on.
No, Jessica said nice horns, and he said they're not, or nice ears, and he said they're not they're not ears, they're horns.
I must have missed that part.
Yeah, there was one part where Jessica Jones mentioned something about it. So that was the thing.
But the thing is, some reviews are coming out, and they're saying they're not too good. They're saying that, but it's weird. They're fluctuating it. Like I don't know if people are just like hating on it to hate on it, or what? Because some people are saying that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones were bland, that Matt Murdock was the only interesting one. Some people are saying that Jessica Jones and Matt Murdock were the only interesting ones, and that Iron Fist and Cage were bland. So it's weird. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. So I'm going to just do a wait and see. And this isn't the only one that's gotten. I'm going to skip around since we're already talking about Marvel. But the Inhumans apparently was not good either from a Marvel base. Apparently they were laughed at, the trailers or the extended preview or whatever.
Oh, did you just skip?
I skipped one, yeah. Since we were already talking about Marvel stuff, I skipped in our notes. So sorry, I'm gonna.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so Defenders, yeah, it looks good to me so far. I really think that people are just like sick of Marvel knocking it out of the park with Netflix shows.
Is that it? They're hating. The haters,
And I think
the
they might
haters
be
gonna
hating,
hate.
you know, and I'm going to try to be unbiased. And I don't want to be a fanboy defending, but yeah,
I'm totally gonna be a fanboy, though. I still haven't. I haven't finished Luke Cage and I haven't finished Iron Fist yet. I think I've watched less of Iron Fist than I have of Luke Cage, so that's a good thing, right?
I think Iron Fist is the weakest show because, in its own way, they tried to be it was like the most ambitious because they tried to do they were juggling too many plot points that really never went anywhere. They kind of just forgot about them when it was convenient to get their characters from point A to point B.
And their biggest failure,
on one straight line, as opposed to bringing in this whole company conspiracy stuff, it would have flowed a lot better.
The biggest failure was the part of having an actor play Danny Rand who didn't have enough time to dedicate to the role.
That was another. That was the second biggest thing I was going to say.
That was a
fight scene.
That's a big anchor.
A lot of times. No, trust me. There's some good ones in there. There's one later on that I really enjoyed. But it was frustrating in some parts with that. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I want it to be good, and from what I saw, I like what I saw. So I'll be happy, especially when they also mentioned that the Punisher was going to make an appearance. That's what makes me happier. So
this is going to be Punisher season 2.
Oh, God.
And then when the actual Punisher season comes out, that's season 3.
We'll call it 1.5 because this is only 6 episodes, right? Isn't that what it was?
Close enough.
Something like that. Slightly more than we got out of Castlevania. So, all right. Do you want to? Oh man.
So now we'll jump to under the. Sorry guys, we have notes, and then I and my wild ambitions, which. Wow, we did not organize these. We were just so excited for all this information. So we'll talk about this. So what did you do today, Jeremy?
Oh, so I do have to go back a picture. I did this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did this. So I did a thing. And so here's the story. Here's what happened. We went to the theater. We went to Alamo Drafthouse out here by us. And I love the Alamo Drafthouse because they feed you while you watch a movie. Not just popcorn, food. And they have alcoholic beverages as well. But I was driving, so I couldn't. So I made the right move on that. So we went to go see a special... they're doing a summer kids camp thing where they show older movies in varying ages, all the way back to, I think, The Sandlot's one of them. We were going to go see Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The original Harry Potter movie, okay? They had 2 showings at 10 and 10:30. When we got there, both were pretty much sold out. One of them didn't even have 4 seats next to each other for the 4 of us. So my wife, in her dismay, said, well, we're here. We might as well go see something. And the Emoji Movie came out today. And this is that movie that I said I wouldn't give any money to because it's a stupid idea. And oh boy, Sony's dumb. What the heck are they thinking? And here I sit. The Emoji Movie. And I gotta say... Even though there's a lot of dumb stuff in there, there is a decent underlying theme. Okay, listen. My kids got it perfectly. I figured out that the problem with that movie is it doesn't speak to us in our generation. It's going to be fine with the kids. I don't know how they're going to plan to make money. It should have been one of those, hey, we're making this for Netflix or something, and kids pick it up. And because it was a really good kids movie. Even though I think it's rated PG-13, isn't it? Or is it just PG? There's not really too much suggestive comments, but there were some moments where it was over the kid's head, but I understood what they were talking about. So it's not really. It was a decent movie. It had a decent theme. It was about and because I know our audience is very unlikely to go see this movie, I'm just going to spoil it. it was the idea of getting somewhere no matter what the cost, and then realizing it's not worth getting there without somebody else to enjoy that with. That was the whole theme of the whole get around of everything. And they did it in a certain way that made it neat, because the emojis were moving through a kid's phone, okay? And the kid had their, kid-friendly Skynet. Kinda, because they, the kid had an app on his phone. It was a piracy app, but he had renamed it something so his parents wouldn't realize it. When they went in, there were literally pirate viruses and infections. There were even internet trolls. And they were great. And one of them was voiced by Jeffrey Ross, the comedian. It was actually pretty funny. But anyways, I can't say that it was actually a good movie though, and I can almost agree with what the rating says on here, which originally Rotten Tomatoes had it sitting at a stinking 0%, and that's probably the best it could do. And you said it's what now, 3%?
Yeah, I think it's jumped up to a mighty 3%. So victory, right?
It should have been. It should have been a direct to DVD.
Complaining about it that it's. I don't know. You said it wasn't, but some people have been complaining that it's preachy. Some people are saying that it's one just long commercial. There are all these apps.
There are some preachy moments. Something about a woman not being able to do what a man can do, or something like that. There was actually a comment like that. I was like, I rolled hard. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. They talked about the Just Dance app, which obviously means Ubisoft paid some money for advertisement. They showed the Twitter bird, and you know they
didn't just show the Twitter bird. The Twitter bird was a plot point.
Yeah, it was, because the whole thing was the characters were walking around saying, "Is it true that the princess emoji, when they whistle, it calls down these birds?" And she kept denying it, and finally it had to happen. But I'm conflicted, because I wanted to.
What about the Dropbox reference where they're like, "Oh, don't worry, Dropbox is hack proof or whatever."
Oh, Dropbox is secure, and it's the gateway to the internet. So that's how they get to the cloud.
It's a commercial.
Yeah, it's plenty of commercial, and that's the annoying part. Educational for people not in the know, though, for parents. You know, Dropbox isn't really half bad. But I got a Google Drive, so you know, I'm biased.
We are not funded by Dropbox, but if Dropbox wants to pay for us, I will gladly sell my soul.
So yeah, it was a trash.
And then you say, well, it's for this generation. Like, for the younger audience, is it really, or is it that they don't have any perspective on quality?
There was some history stuff too, because they were talking about the emoticons, and they were like elderly. They were portrayed as elderly in the show, so it was kind of funny. You know the colon and open ellipses for the frowny face and the smiley face and all that stuff. Yeah, they mentioned them and they were elderly, and they were prone to breaking. But before the show started, there was a commercial for was it JapanSociety.org, I think, which was really cool, because they took what do you call it? Damn, what was I saying? Oh, they took the emoticons that we use in the U.S., and then they re-elaborated with what they use in Japan for all their little character faces. You know, you've seen them. Emoticons, the over-emotional faction of Transformers.
We need to put you on the show. You're much better at writing stuff than us.
Right, yeah.
Coming up with jokes.
It wasn't exactly great, and I don't feel great about paying money for it.
It wasn't exactly great. It wasn't exactly good, but I didn't catch myself on fire while watching it.
Yeah.
I didn't die while watching it, so there.
But anyways, why don't we talk about something else? I'd rather not continue to embarrass my adventures. My wife did not like it at all. She said she was dozing. So,
and I kept telling you guys, you were like, "We're going to go see the Emoji Movie." I said, "Why? Did you hate yourself?"
It was like, but the Harry Potters were full. So.
Then go put it on DVD.
I know,
TV.
but it's the movie theater environment. You know, you go out to see a movie. So, anyways, all right. Marvel's Inhumans. They were laughing stock.
Yeah, so pretty much like everything we said is that it's just not the Inhumans.
Right.
You know, and they was like the acting's bad in it and all this stuff, which is unfortunate. And I'm ready to see this. I'm not going to see it in IMAX. No, I ain't paying $20 to watch a TV pilot.
Right.
I won't even watch cable. But you know, it's just that trailer did not like. The best part was bad CGI Lockjaw, and even then, it still kind of bothers me because he's not a dog. But I guess he still acts. I don't know if it's because the writers sometimes forget he's not a dog in the comics. He just looks like one.
Right.
But like, so he licks people and stuff, or what? I'm not too sure. But it still upsets me one that Medusa has been weakened like that. I'm hoping that they somehow depowered her or whatever. They have to have a scene where she's completely powered because she is incredibly powerful. She literally does not have to lay a finger on you to fight you. And Black Bolt, how can he be so weak? I mean, okay, maybe Earth's air pollution weakened him, but not that fast. like the Inhumans, the reason they moved to the moon in the comics is because like pollution on the planet, they weren't as durable in a way as humans. I guess normal humans, they can't handle it that much.
Right.
That was creepy to find out that Lockjaw was a guy. Yeah, he's just some dude. Yeah, Tarek and Mist turned him into a teleporting dog.
Yeah.
A 2,000-pound bulldog man.
Who can teleport.
So I didn't read too many reviews on it. It's just like some tweets I saw, but I don't know if that looks good. And the thing is, at least the Inhumans wasn't the only one. I don't know if you put a picture for this. No, Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, I heard the trailer that they showed there wasn't that great either. People are kind of up in arms about it, which kind of sucks because you want Star Trek to be good, but man, they picked a bad time period. They pigeonholed themselves in technology. Is the constant complaint that I hear over all of the shows I listen to, and that is once again they pigeonholed themselves between the original series and the next generation. Technology can't be anything further than that. And even better is they can't introduce any new races. How could they? Because they started running into the new species in the next generation. So it's not like they can reintroduce the Cardassians or the
Kardashians.
No, Cardassians. They're the ones with the weird faces.
Well, I mean Kardashians, yeah.
What are the ones with the big ears?
Quark
and all that.
The guy from Deep Space Nine, right?
Quark.
With a Q? Quarks?
Quark. No, Quark was the guy's name.
Well, you can't meet the Borg. You can't meet Q.
Yeah.
Unless they end the show with, or they end Discovery with them dying without reporting anything, which would be weird.
Yeah. It I don't know.
They shouldn't. First of all, they shouldn't put themselves there. Second of all, they're doing a lot of stuff outside, not just the show, but they seem to be insulting Star Trek fans in general. And then they come into them and say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to charge you $6 a month just to watch this one show on CBS Online." But we also kind of hate you.
So there's an issue with that too, because you're talking about that being a subscription service. It's not doing well. People aren't using it. They're hoping that Star Trek Discovery boosts that.
It might boost it for like 2 episodes.
Well, no. As soon as people are done consuming all the episodes, they're going to cancel it. They're not going to keep it.
What does CBS have?
Nothing. They have what? I think they have the original runs of the A-Team and a couple other shows. There's already stuff on there.
A box set of the A-Team.
The other Star Treks.
The old one?
Yeah, the original A-Team TV show.
You probably buy a box set of that for like $5.
Yeah, no kidding. No, I know. But they think
probably buy it on Amazon Prime for like $2.
They want what everybody else has. They want that. They want their system, and it's their subscription. We asked
CBS,
for this.
Put the old cartoons you used to have on, like Project Geek and stuff. Put that on that streaming service. Maybe I'll watch it.
We asked for this. We didn't want cable because cable was too expensive, and now we have the alternative, and the alternative is we're paying subscriptions here and there and everywhere, and it's like, well, what are we at? What point are we at now? Because you're paying $20 for, 15 or so for Netflix, another 12 to 15 for Hulu, another 15 for HBO. HBO is even single threaded. Whatever you're paying for Amazon Prime. I'm just saying, the people, as they build up, they have all these subscriptions, and it's costing about as much money as it would for cable. My problem with cable was we had cable and we watched Netflix and Hulu all the time instead.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm still there. But here's the thing: this is like we're still in the experimental phase of this. So all these companies like CBS or whatever, they're trying their online streaming service, and when people will wait till an entire series is released. And if they do it like Netflix, where they release all the Star Trek Discovery episodes at once, people are going to do a free trial,
and they aren't.
Watch everything and cancel it. So they're not even going to make their $6 for those guys.
So here's how they screw Here's how they screw the users. Okay, are you ready? They release episode week by week as they were going to, which I think is the plan right now. Mm-hmm. And until it's completely done and it's run and they start doing the syndication, I think they're only going to have like Hulu does, where only the last few episodes are available. So that you have to continue to buy that subscription. They are holding Star Trek Discovery hostage through a subscription.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing: it's going to get pirated then. Now, that's the thing about it, huh?
Oh, for sure. That's like I was just reading Game of Thrones episode 1 for this season. 90 million pirated copies out there. It was pirated 90 million times. It's the only way they can make money, for sure. Because they renewed their contract with Netflix. So Deep Space Nine and The Next Generation are on Netflix still.
Wow, they did not think this through it all now, did
No, they didn't. They were supposed to cancel those, so that would be their anchor, was TOS, The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. Not that those are really exciting. But those, I think, are still on Netflix,
how long have those series been out already? If people have probably bought those DVDs already,
for sure,
or the Blu-rays or whatever. So you're not bringing anything new to the table, CBS. And the thing is, yes, a lot of stuff gets pirated, unfortunately, but you always have that group that will take care of you as long as you are loyal to them. And that's what I've always found crazy about the internet. Like, a video game example is CD Projekt Red. I think that's the Witcher guys.
Yep, those are those guys.
They've released stuff for free. Didn't they release like their toolbox or whatever? Like for the modders?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Anyways, but they still have people take care of them. The Kickstarters and stuff, the GoFundMes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, some of your stuff's going to get pirated, but if you're releasing a quality product and you're appealing to your fans, and CBS is doing nothing, they're insulting. It seems like they're insulting their fan base, and they're like, by the way, you got to pay us $6 or $7 a month, $5 a month for this show.
I'm trying to see if I can find a lineup. I would imagine all their current stuff, Two Broke Girls, Beauty
I thought
and the
Two Broke
Beast.
Girls got canceled.
Did it get canceled? Well, it's still on CBS All Access. Seventh Heaven, The Amazing Race. Oh my gosh.
Seventh Heaven? Isn't that the one?
Big Bang Theory. Yes, that's the one.
You know what I was about to ask, right?
Yeah, I know what you're going to ask. We can go without. Criminal Minds, CSI. They have their shows, but they're just not people aren't going to pay $6 for it. Some people are, but not most.
CBS, I've always thought of it as like the older person's channel. In a way, that might not be fair, but it's just, I always thought like 60 Minutes and stuff. So, are those the kind of people that are going to be?
They have Twin Peaks on here, and Twin Peaks is owned by Showtime now. It's on Hulu. So, yeah, it's not worth continuing to talk about. The only other thing I want to mention is the accolades for TV shows as far as what's going on is the Orville, the Seth MacFarlane's Star Trek-like series.
Oh, I haven't. Have they released that trailer yet?
I don't know if they released a new trailer. There is a trailer out for it though. They kind of marketed it as a comedy, but apparently word is Seth MacFarlane wants to make that like a serious competitor for Star Trek. It's an hour-long show. It's going to be an hour-long show.
Already got like 40-year head start, 50-year head start.
Yeah, but look at the water they're treading with Discovery, man.
Yeah, they're really phoning it in lately.
Seth MacFarlane's got more concurrent time at this point than they do because, well, Family Guy's still going.
Well, but yeah. Oh, well, I thought you were going to say that you were going to add in all his cartoons. I was about to say they're all the same cartoons.
I know they are, but yeah. This looks like he's a huge Star Trek geek. He's a huge geek in general. So I can't remember if he was in Star Trek 3 or not. The new Star Trek.
You know what he needs to do is he needs to pull some of the Futurama writers in, like the ones with like the doctorates in math and stuff.
Wait. More news. Matt Groening is doing a new series for Netflix. A new cartoon series.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
Yeah. Breaking news, I guess. Yeah, he's signed to do a series for Netflix, and it's called. Is it obvious when I'm googling stuff? Netflix ordered series called article load. It's an adult fantasy from the creator of The Simpsons. It's called, oh my gosh, Disenchantment. It's an adult fantasy show.
So it's like fantasy Futurama?
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
My only problem is that his shows tend to get...
Wait. Disenchantment will take place in Dreamland, a collapsing medieval kingdom where a hard-drinking young princess will encounter all sorts of mystical creatures, including ogres, imps, and lots of human fools, according to the Netflix announcement. The series will fittingly be about how to keep laughing in a world full of suffering and idiots. That's a direct quote from Matt Groening. So,
I'll wait for the trailer.
Yeah, we'll see. You need to watch the trailer for the Orville. That's what you need to watch.
I need to see that.
All right.
So,
Marvel's Inhumans, it's the laughing stock.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery, it's the laughing stock. Everything's laughing stock. Amy Pascal's a laughing stock, but not in a good way.
Amy Pascal says Venom movie will be like Zombieland.
Now, this is from a little while, like a couple of weeks ago, but we wanted to touch on it anyways because, like a kind of comedy, because Zombieland, yeah, it had its dark tones, but it was mainly a comedy.
Right, whereas something like Max Brooks's, what's it called? What was that zombie movie? Zombie Survivor. World War Z.
That was not a comedy.
No, but people were assuming it was going to be, and it was more of a serious take on zombies. Zombieland had that dark tone, but also had some comedy. I don't think a Venom movie should have comedy.
I mean, you should have lighthearted moments because I'm a big proponent of the trope, again, another trope, darkness-induced apathy, and I've discussed this several times on the show with, like, if you start with your show at the bottom, or show, movie, whatever, of it just being completely hopeless, bleak, awful characters, and you go downhill, and you have nobody for the audience to root for, why should we care? Like, so when these dramatic moments happen, why should anybody care? You have to have, at the very least, appealing characters in an unforgiving crapsack world. So, considering everything else Amy Pascal's involved in, It's probably going to end up as a joke, just an unfunny one, more like a pathetic one. And here's the other thing. Did you notice that there wasn't an announcement at SDCC about Venom?
So that means it's not coming next year, right?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be next year, but they could have talked about it sometime. I don't remember there being anything really announced by it. Maybe they realized, oh, we might have screwed up because we don't understand this character at all. We're thinking Spider-Man in a different costume when Venom is not that.
What?
Now, that being said, there are some light-hearted moments in some Venom comics. Like there's one I remember where he jumped down during his Lethal Protector time when he was like a dark vigilante, and he horrified some people. Right, like these guys were trying to mug a woman, and he jumps down. And he's like, "I'm going to eat your brains" and stuff. So they run off in a panic, and he turns to the woman. I mean, remember this guy's like 6'4" of black ooze with massive teeth and a long tongue, and he's just like hulking over, and he's like, "Oh, I was just kidding. Here's your purse. Have a good day. I only hurt mean people or whatever," and just leaps away, and she's like traumatized forever.
Yeah.
So there can be lighthearted moments in Venom. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah, but is that what you want to do? You know, I mean,
yeah, no,
is that the right direction?
Not just not understanding the characters, not understanding the universe that they have, like
with great power comes great responsibility.
Right. Well, to be fair, Fox doesn't understand either. Just like one of the movies that, and I was so hyped for it, was Kick-Ass, because the very end of it, I'm like, it completely missed the point of the comic, and that's what I'm afraid of with Ready Player One. That's going to miss the point of the story, or part of the point. And that's, that being a superhero wouldn't work in the real world. So I don't know where Amy Pascal's brain is at anymore. And she just says things. Maybe she's like Peter Molyneux when he was with the Fable series, and he just rambles at random.
Right.
And just to keep the hype building. But this is not building hype. This is building concern for this property. So that's what I got to say. What do you got to say about the Venom stuff?
Like I said, I don't know that you need, and I mean, Zombieland wasn't a comedy, but it was. Well, I guess it probably was a comedy horror, but
it was like a horror comedy. It was like a black comedy. It kind of like God, I love that movie. What's the faces? Versus the Forces of Dale and Tucker versus the Forces of Evil. You ever seen that movie?
That movie was great. I love
that movie. Oh my god, I love that movie.
I don't think hey, all this Sony talk upset your kid. Yeah. I don't think they could strike that balance with Venom. I think Venom needs to stick with it.
First of all, without Venom having Spider-Man in there, the entire point he exists, I don't understand how it's going to work unless they do like a flashback or whatever. But I don't understand how that's going to be like an emotional crutch for the audience.
They're doing it from the point of a villain. No, I'm just kidding. That was talked about too, by the way.
Now here's the thing, and they've discussed this actually, which we don't have a picture in here for, but they've discussed this with Fox as tossed around the idea of doing a Doctor Doom movie, which would work because he has a lot of heroic. In a warped way, he has a lot of heroic points. He thinks he's doing the right thing, and a lot of universe, and a lot of versions where Doctor Doom successfully took over the world or the universe, would turn into a paradise. Latveria is a paradise to a certain extent, at least, because he has Doombots that do go around. Well, not necessarily Doombots, but versions of Doombots that do go around and take out any dissenters. But nobody really dissents because they don't know the difference. Everybody's well fed. Everybody's taken care of. In fact, one of the books I had, he was using one of his subjects as a test subject to try to make an army of Hulks, and it failed, and the Hulkman died. Yeah, his country adores him, absolutely. He just has a stranglehold on free speech and everything. But, yeah, they absolutely do adore Von Doom.
Well, that's fine.
So and the story is, okay, well, once that guy died, the scientist that did this the wrong way, he very well punished them in a torturous way. And then he was like, okay, find his wife, and his family and set them up for life. He's like, they're going to be completely taken care of for the rest of their lives. So, I mean, so he does good by his subjects for the most part. It's just that his obsession with Reed Richards gets in the way of everything.
Right.
So I could absolutely see a movie from Dr. Doom's perspective. I just don't think they understand that character either. There. Tangent over for that.
All right. Next thing we got on here. Close Enough trailer. I haven't watched it yet.
Did you see this?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh. You yell at me about not watching trailers. So, if you've ever watched regular show, this is basically regular show, but with human characters, and that's it. And more foul language because it's going to be on TBS, and it's going to be a more adult-oriented cartoon. But Close Enough is an upcoming American animated television series created by regular show creator J.G. Quintel for the TBS network. 13 episodes of the series were ordered by TBS. This is the first collaboration between corporate siblings Cartoon Network Studios and Studio T. The series is described as a surreal take on transitioning from 20-somethings to 30-somethings. The show revolves around a married couple juggling everyday challenges such as parenthood, friendship, ham theft, stripper clowns, and choosing the right daycare. The show will debut fall 2017 or 2018.
Hopefully fall.
Early 2018. And let me tell you, this thing looks funny. First of all, I love regular show. I think it got a little like hipsterish and pretentious at the end, but this is actually going to be interesting because you rarely see like that kind of transition, like people trying to learn in a sitcom, trying to become responsible parents. They either already had kids or whatever, and this show seems to take it at a very young age. They showed their little girl in it, but it still has the surreal aspects of regular show. Like I think there was a bear that showed up at one point, and there's a gorilla that they fought. There was a stripper clown several times in there. So I think it's going to be funny, and I'm interested in seeing it. And I just learned about this show just before the show today.
Once again, show prep is right before the show. But it works.
If it wasn't for the last minute, we'd never get anything done. Right.
All right, last thing, Mega Man movie gets directors. The Mega Man movie is closer to becoming a reality. Reports have surfaced that Catfish documentary directors Henry Joost and Ariel Schulman are in the final stages of negotiation to write and direct. The project was initially announced back in 2015 with 20th Century Fox and Chernin Entertainment. Chernin Entertainment, my bad. Developing a movie based on the popular video game. That's cool, but is it going to be live action or or does it say? Do you have stuff down there?
No, they haven't gotten that far. The Hollywood Reporter reports that the movie will be produced by Shannon Entertainer and Heroes actor Maisi Oka. Whatever.
Oka.
It has been reported that the holdup was due to it taking 20th Century Fox the last 2 years to secure the rights to officially make the Mega Man movie. In addition to the controversial Catfish documentary, which people have called like a faux documentary or like a semi-faux documentary, which got this Ariel whatever like up in arms, like she like shut down a Q&A at the Sundance Film Festival when some audience member just kind of suggested that, and she's like, I mean, she went off on this little tangent. I ran about
Ariel's a guy. Ariel's a guy.
Whatever. Little Mermaid. Whatever. So this Ariel guy then got off on this tangent and just shut down this Q&A. I'm like, that's not really professional. I'm wondering if it's going to be like, because this is Fox, we just talked about it. Is this going to be like the Chronicle with Fantastic Four, where they're taking from what's basically an indie film and then put on this massive big budget film?
You know what's going to happen? Here's my prediction. They're going to make the movie. It's going to bomb, and he's going to yell that people just don't understand what he's doing.
Remember this? They also want to make this rated R. At least the Castlevania producer wanted to make it rated R.
Why?
Now Mega Man X, I can absolutely see being rated R. Mega Man, classic Mega Man, no, I cannot see that being rated R. I could see it being a film trilogy. I could see them actually making. We've reported on that crappy looking Mega Man cartoon, which is it's a boy that turns into Mega Man, and not a robot boy that just basically switches.
Right.
But it looks awful. So they've also worked on found footage horror films, Paranormal Activity 3 and 4, as well as 2016's Nerve. Has anybody seen Nerve?
No. Never
I haven't seen it either. And I'm been on a big horror kick these last couple of years. I'm reading the horror books and watching horror shows and movies, and I've missed that one. So I'll have to check it out. But I think I've seen Paranormal Activity 3. Is that the prequel one? I don't remember. But it was a terrible found footage film. Interesting premise and some really creepy moments in it, but it was not a good found footage film. It's like people have to. It seems like people don't understand found footage films. What was Nerve about? Somebody Google. Charles Dickens, tell us. So these examples do not inspire confidence in me. Horror films and a Mega Man film don't really sync together. A documentary film don't sync together with Mega Man. Mega Man, if you don't know Mega Man, he's a robot from the 1980s NES generation. He was originally Rock, and he fights against Dr. Wily and his evil robot masters, and he takes the powers of each one and fights against the other ones, and it's like a rock, paper, scissors thing, kind of like Pokemon. If you've ever played Pokemon, like
Rockman,
Electman was weak to Cutman, right?
Right.
Cutman was weak to Gutsman. I forget who Gutsman was weak to.
Frogman? No, I'm just kidding.
Frogman? No, Bubbleman? Bubbleman was in number 2. Bubbleman was actually Lead Bubble or Lead Bubble. It's kind of iffy on which one's the right one. Well, obviously, you absolutely needed it at the end of the game, but
right.
It's actually kind of useful to finding the hidden traps in the game. See, when I played Mega Man, here's my problem: is I never want because the weapon, with the exception of Metal Blade, which has it's the equivalent of infinite energy compared to the others.
Right.
So I never used them. I always used just the regular Buster.
You need a challenge. I got you.
Mega Buster.
You're like, if this game isn't like Battletoads, I don't want to play it. No.
Dude, no. It is like Battle. I mean, Mega Man's difficult in its own way. The thing about Mega Man you got to wrap your head around is that it's not like Mario or Sonic where you can blast through. Each section, each screen that you get on is like its own single isolated puzzle. So you can't just rush through it. Bomb Man. Forgot about Bomb Man. Oh, I totally forgot. My bad.
Great. All right. Well, that's our video game refresher, and I think I'm gonna turn my tablet back on here and play the sounder for the video game so we can finish up here. Sound good? Good. Good.
Good for me.
Speaking of Mega Man, last thing we've got for the show. Nerve wasn't really a horror movie, more of a light thriller. Yeah, I got you. Especially when you're talking about a game of Dare and Dare on the dark web. The dark web. All right, Overwatch League information.
Wait, real quick. Nerve was about the dark web?
No, Dare and Dare. Like, Truth or Dare, but just dares.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
There.
It's fine.
You flowed.
No, the Overwatch League is making news again, and in a pretty big way. And I forgot to go through and redo the notes, or did you trim these up?
I didn't do nothing to them. You said post them in there, and I posted it in there.
Good
My
Lord.
goodness.
All right, so now that the first handful of teams for the Overwatch League have been announced, Blizzard is now sharing benefits that these players on these teams will be earning. In a blog post on the league's official site, Blizzard announced the players' salaries and benefits, free agent signing window, and Season 1 team bonuses. Blizzard made it clear that more than 30 million Overwatch players that meet the age and eligibility requirements, every single one of them is a free agent and has this opportunity to be signed by an Overwatch team. But they'll still only pick the best. What do you get when you sign a contract with the Overwatch League team? Teams will sign players to 1-year guaranteed contracts with the option to extend the contract for an additional year. The minimum salary for the players in U.S. dollars is $50,000 per year. And who said, oh yeah, all those moms and dads out there that said you can't make any money playing video games. Here's the proof of...
Yeah, I yelled at my parents last week about that. I'm like, what kind of hobby is it now?
Yeah. Teams will distribute at least 50% of their team's performance bonus, i.e. money from the winning playoffs and other league events, to their players directly. How much will the bonuses be? There will be at least $3.5 million in bonus money distributed amongst the teams in Season 1, with at least $1 million going towards the Season 1 champion.
Now, how many are on a team again?
All right, so here's how it works. Other details in the post include the requirements of the league team to provide housing and practice facilities for the teams, and each team must have at least 6 players, but a roster of no more than 12 players. So, somebody do 12 times 50. That's
12 times?
10...
12,
so 5,
just do 12 times 5
600,
and add zeros.
Yeah, it's $600,000 they'd have to pay out per year for salaries, at the least.
Yeah, remember that says minimum $50,000.
Yeah, that means...
And that's not including the benefits and all that other stuff.
Yeah, so 12 players. The Overwatch League's free agency period begins on August 1st and will run till October 30th, where teams can sign players from anywhere in the world to team contracts. There's still no start date, schedule, season structure, or game rules, but the first season will launch later this year. So, $50,000 plus benefits for some kid, no matter where they are. That's not bad. My only worry is it'll go to like big streamers or people that, and it would be smarter for those teams to stay away from those people, because those people are going to cost them more money and cut into the bottom line of the team.
Right. No, just because they're big streamers doesn't mean they're the best.
No, but more often than not, people that participate in tournaments also stream.
Yeah.
There's a few that I follow for Rainbow Six, guys that play for Continuum, who won the last big tournament. They still stream. They still got to make their cash on the side. Those guys would be killing for a team like that, or a league like this.
Now, yeah, and here's my thing. If I was... obviously it depends on the person, but if I was these guys, I would probably take closer to the minimum salary just to be sure there was more to float us in a way, and to, because this is a fledgling, since this is such a fleggling sport
it doesn't,
or league or whatever, and I know these guys are billionaires that are running these things and all this stuff, but that's just the way I would see stuff. I'd be more cautious with it and be like, I'm not going to be a leech, so to speak. I'm going to...
Did I mention that they will get health insurance and a retirement savings plan as well?
I don't know if you mentioned that, but yeah, I mean, just think about all that stuff. A retirement plan?
It's a job,
and housing?
It's a job.
And that's travel?
Yeah, plus they pay for your travel. Yeah, you're not paying anything. You are literally making $50,000 plus benefits.
It sounds like you're
bonuses.
only having to pay for food.
I would imagine
and other and unnecessary stuff, and that doesn't. And probably when you're training, you're probably going to provide the food during the training sessions throughout the day.
Probably,
they're probably at least going to provide you with lunch.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we're finally seeing something like this. I don't know of any other leagues that do this. I know there have been shows that have those type of things. Like Sci-Fi had a show on it once where they were showing competing game houses, but they're not really a common thing. That was like a, hey, look, this is something that could be possible.
Well, South Korea has like colleges or whatever, where they have sports facilities, training facilities set up for StarCraft. Remember? Oh,
that's right. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is a worldwide league too, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting because one of the teams is Korea as well. So,
so
all right. Well, I think that's about to wrap it up here for the night.
Geez, we went through a lot of stuff today, and there's stuff we still missed. Rumors are popping up.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the Infinity leak.
Oh, yeah.
The Infinity War trailer leak. which we'll cover hopefully next week
I'm
when they
kinda
release
hoping-
the thing, so we don't see like half the screen cut off.
Yeah.
We watch the leak videos.
I was gonna say that's hopefully. I was hoping they would release that sooner. They should have. I mean, it's kind of like when you don't want to release. You don't want something released before it's ready, but at the same time, you kind of want to get ahead of that. So
Now it would be a little different if it had been leaked while they were still making the trailer,
yeah.
but they released the trailer just in a localized, the SDCC. That's where they released it. So, and they have to know at this point, how many times has Marvel had their trailers leaked? I think
plenty.
every time.
Every time.
By now?
Every time. So. All right. Well, thanks for listening, all of you, especially that showed up in the chat room, and those of you listening at home. We definitely appreciate it. Please leave us feedback on our episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, and anywhere else you can get our podcast from, as it will help with visibility for others to discover us. And please like, share, and comment, and subscribe on YouTube or Twitch or whatever your poison is. Where we're currently talking to you, because we're talking to you on both, and you can get both feeds if you want to. Click through to one, you can go to stasisgeek.com/live to get that. Your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it's your turn. I'm done.
Are you sure? Okay. You can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter, at our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ecgpodcast@gmail.com. Also visit our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com, where we've maybe putting stuff up now. We've got this chat thing, like Jeremy was saying, because I wasn't paying attention. Or you can post comments both live and on any videos, or, well, maybe not any videos, but most of the videos. And he'll read them, and then he'll tell me about them. And then I'll nod my head stoically, because that's how I do things.
Right, and probably not listen to me.
And probably not listen to Jeremy. And back to you, Jeremy.
All right, we will be back next week, next Friday. It'll be August, and hopefully by then we'll have our Patreon page up. We were just finishing touches on it before we started the show. So look forward to that. We'll make an announcement, and we'll talk about it on the show quite a bit, I'm sure, so that everybody's aware. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Until then, stay geeky.